John, you're now upside down. I cannot see Derek, but I'm gonna let it ring, and then I'll let it go. I don't want to hit anything like I did last time.
I love watching you flip side to
side.
It's like a bad drug trip watching him.
There we go. I'm back. All right.
Oh, thank God. Hey, what's going on? It is Shit Talk Reviews. It's a Friday. I'm John, Derek, and David in the house. Excited to be here. It's been a great day and continues to be good. Why, Derek?
We are covering Bestial Devastation, Morbid Visions, reissues, re-recorded by Cavalera Conspiracy and our boy Max.
I am going to go out on a limb, although I don't feel like I'm going out on a limb. But my guess is that you are out of your mind and have been since these albums came out.
I have been. So I found out about Sepultura in 1989 when Beneath the Remains came out. Shout out to my friend Jamie Hosley, who turned me on to them when we were in high school. And I listened to Beneath the Remains, was blown away, and proceeded to go to the Dartmouth Bookstore, which is Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. And that's where I used to get my cassette tapes back in the day. And I ordered Bestial Devastation, Morbid Visions, and also Schizophrenia. And I was highly disappointed in the recording quality of Bestial Devastation and Morbid Visions. To this day, I still listen. So you can see the t-shirt. I still listen to Beneath the Remains on a regular basis. It's probably one of my top 10 albums of all time. But I've always felt like Bestial Devastation and Morbid Visions had more to offer. And when I found out about this, my buddy Matt sent me a note. He sent me a text and he says, look at this. And it was the new album covers that look like the old album covers, but modern. And the recordings have hit the mark. They have given this material, this thrashy early 80s material, a new breath of life.
I agree, John. And I cheated, and I normally don't, but I came into the office, I don't know, 2 days ago and talked to John about it real quick. And man, compared to the old stuff, sound wise, compared to what they've done and on the new, not new stuff, but what they've done on the re-recordings and everything, it sounds unbelievable. Sound to it. Yeah, night and day. I mean, what a difference! Really, it's unbelievable. So very impressed.
I was excited to hear these because for me, Sepultura was like one of the bands that really defined thrash.
Yeah, they're in your face, nasty.
And so getting to hear this stuff now, as you were saying, Derek, the sonic qualities of the original recordings was just not there. It was not solid. And so to get to hear that material done modern is sick. And these albums are great, if for no other reason, because they sound so good.
Yeah, I'm 48 today, and the 15-year-old me is celebrating listening to it. And I won't lie to you, the song that I really wanted to hear redone was Troops of Doom, and that's on Morbid Visions. And there's just so many riffs in that song that are just killer that, you know, Max plays today, and then the rejiggered version of Sepultura still plays. It's a great song, and in hearing it with some oomph behind it is fantastic, because really for the last however many years, we've really had to listen to the live versions of it to really hear Troops of Doom the way it was meant to be heard.
It's funny you say that, because Troops of Doom was my favorite song on Morbid Vision. I specifically wrote notes on this. Love the song, love the way it opens. The guitar tones and the riffs are sick. And I even went back to listen to the old version, not the old version, but the old sound to this. And fuck, man, that's a great song.
When these albums were first recorded in 85 and 86, bands were capable of getting great recordings. I mean, again, I mentioned Kill 'Em All. Those records, you could do it. And for whatever reason, the Sepultura albums just didn't come out quite as clean.
They didn't have the money until they signed with Roadrunner, and Roadrunner re-released Schizophrenia, and then you can hear it. I mean, Beneath the Remains was one step further, and then after that, Arise was an even further progression. And I sent you a video, John, a couple weeks ago, and it was some really good quality live material of Sepultura in their Arise phase. And I've been saying this for a little while, and we talk about the big four all the time. The big four, the Metallica, the Anthrax, right, the Slayers, and the Megadeth. And when you listen to Sepultura, from Beneath the Remains right on through into Arise and then Chaos AD and Roots, those 4 albums back to back to back to back are just absolutely killer, start to finish, all 4 records. And they have to be. And I just have never understood, even as a 15 to 22-year-old, when those albums all came out, why they haven't had the same notoriety as the big 4, because they're that good. And then say nothing about all of the Soulfly material, Nail Bomb material, Killer Be Killed, so on and so forth. Like, Max has continued to pump out way more music than the big 4, and it's all good. It's all worthy of everybody's
Is it
time.
because it's just not commercial play, not radio friendly stuff?
No,
Is
I
that
would
why?
guess I would venture to say that it was on a point that you mentioned, Derek, that they just didn't have any money. If they didn't have money to put into the recording, that goes a long way when you don't have the opportunity to see a band live, or if you're not local to that band, what you have to reference the material is the recorded stuff. And if it's not recorded well, you may not give it as much credit.
Well, Morbid Visions and Bestial Devastation, they didn't have money then. But after that, once they signed with Roadrunner and from Beneath the Remains on, they've had record label backing all the way through. But to Dave's point, they haven't written a Enter Sandman. They haven't written a Load album that's like a jazzy,
Right.
rock band. Max has stayed consistently angry. They say that Ted Williams could roll out of bed and hit a single at 60 years old. Well, guess what? Max Cavalera is, pushing that, and he's in that area, and he can roll out of bed and write better riffs than probably 99% of the people on this planet. And he continues to do it today.
It's no different than, and I'm not comparing the 2 bands, but it's like Overkill. They stay in their lane. They never veered off. These guys did the same thing. They never veered off, and that's probably why we're having this discussion, why they're not in the big 4, but they stay true to who they are. So I have respect for bands like that.
Derek, that video clip that you sent, do you remember when that was from?
That was probably Arise, which I think was around 91, 92. And the quality was great, but they were so tight. And I remember seeing these videos back in the day of Sepultura. Meanwhile, Metallica is going and putting out, they had one and they were playing the Grammys, I think it was. And I'm like, how is Sepultura not getting the notoriety? They're just as tight as Metallica was back then. And it's still, to this day, it blows my mind. I don't know how that is.
That's why I ask about when that video was from. We'll post a link to the video. It's on YouTube. I don't remember. I don't know the specifics. But the performance is crusher, and the audio is fantastic too, which is lovely. But those guys were killing it. And it speaks to the point that they should have had more notoriety then, the big 5.
Agreed. And even when Max left Sepultura and started Soulfly was a little bit more bouncy, less riffy, in the beginning, a little bit more progressive. They tried a lot of different things. So it wasn't as thrashy as the Sepultura stuff. But in the last 6 years, everything has gone back to thrash with Max. Everything. I mean, whether it's Cavalera Conspiracy's new material, the Soulfly stuff, the Go Ahead and Die, it's all thrashy, in your face, old school. And as we hear on these 2 records, he is sounding just as good, if not way better, than he did when these albums were first recorded. I mean, War, he is vicious on that. We did a little snippet last night teasing this with some cats getting wet and yelling War when they bounce out of the sink. And, Max just sounds like a fucking devil. And to be aging with the grace and aging with just the magnitude and the heaviness that Max is bringing to the table, I'm just blown away. And I'm just so happy that we are still getting this amazing music out of him all these years later. And he cares enough, the family cares enough to go put out and re-record material that deserve to have the recording that we now have today sitting in front of us.
It's pretty impressive. And as you said, that instrumentally, they kill it on this record, but his voice is so strong.
Consistent, very consistent, right? It's just so powerful, his vocals.
And we'd be remiss to not bring up Iggor Cavalera. I mean, we're sitting here,
Yeah.
getting
Absolutely.
it on with talking about Max, but Iggor has been with him a vast majority of the best work that that he had with Sepultura, obviously. But the Cavalera Conspiracy material has been fantastic. Like Psychosis is an album that I still listen to on a regular basis. Iggor was on that. His drumming is just precision. Kudos to Iggor Amadeus.
Igor's a killer. Sorry to step on you. Iggor is a killer.
He's an accomplished songwriter and guitarist unto himself, but he plays bass within Cavalera Conspiracy. And then I don't know who recorded the lead parts, whether it was Daniel Gonzalez or Travis Stone, but whichever one of those guitarists did the leads, they killed the material. They took what Andreas Kisser did from way back in the day and just made it absolutely shredding. It cuts and it's demonic. I love it.
It's a gnarly. Both of them are great records, and I'm glad that we have it fresh.
Okay, let's do this. Let's talk about our favorite songs and why you like them.
Which album we want to start with?
Well, let's start with Bestial Devastation.
Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fucking freight train. It's just a power track, and I absolutely can't get enough of it. With a follow-up, Necromancer, because you get to hear Iggor go nuts on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was Bestial Devastation. Just the fucking song was insane. I love it. Intense. I thought the drums in the song, the drums were killer. The arrangement, by far my favorite song on that one.
For
about
me,
you, G?
Yeah, it's Necromancer. I've always loved the song. I've always wanted to hear it with some oomph and some beef. Heavy, real
heavy shit.
Fucking heavy, and it's
Yeah.
evil as fuck. And makes me happy.
How about Morbid Visions?
So for me, Morbid Visions, the song has a riff near the end of it. There's actually a couple riffs in there that I've always wanted to hear that re-recorded because it was just so thin before, and they just kick live. I can't wait. I know we're planning on going over to Orlando to see them. Can't wait to see this song live. Obviously, Troops of Doom, War is also a song that I've always loved. And then Funeral Rites has just been a favorite of mine. And again, I've always wanted to hear it with some gusto behind it, some
muscle
production
behind
chops, some muscle, some steroids. So thank you to Max and Iggor and to Max's wife, Gloria, for making this happen, because I'm giddy.
Do you know, is this something that's been in the works for a while, or do you know the how this came about?
I know nothing about it. I found out like everybody else. It was Nuclear Blast announced that they were putting it out. I was actually, my buddy Matt, I remember I was in Home Depot with my wife, and the text came through and I just was elated. Home Depot is like going to like Walmart or Target. It's like not a place you want to be. And the rest of the trip that I was there, I was on cloud nine.
What about you, Dave? Morbid Visions, favorites?
Yeah, Morbid Visions. So I had three. They were all good, honestly, but the top three, Mayhem, loved the way the song opened. Heavy ass shit. Just loved it. The Troops of Doom, I don't want to go into it again. And I loved Funeral Rites. Loved the beginning of the song. I like at the minute mark. It's just takes a turn in your face, and had a great flow throughout. So those would be my top three picks on Morbid Vision.
Yeah, my standout for Morbid is Burn the Dead, man. That song, the intro is sick. The guitar comes at you like a fucking chainsaw, and then just all hell breaks loose. And it's got a nasty break at the end, a Herta break. It's a devastating track.
One thing to bring up too, before we kind of check out is there is passion in what the Cavalera family does. And we found that out actually this past holiday season. John went on Cameo and hired Max to wish me a happy holiday. And, let's give it a listen and let everybody else decide if there is passion there.
Oi, hello, Derek. Max Cavalera here. I'm at home in Arizona, chilling, waiting for Christmas. Check out my pad. This is where I write. Got some records on the wall right there behind me. Yeah, this message for you from Superman. Yes, and he wants just to be thankful for the friendship that you guys have. That's amazing. A bond of metal. Let's go with some Touching the Void, especially for you. Let's go. I'm touching the void. Yeah, that's for Derek. Down tune, touching the void. I want you to have the greatest metal Christmas ever. Go party with Superman. Anyway, man, have a great metal Christmas. We wish you a metal Christmas. We wish you a metal Christmas. We wish you a metal Christmas and a metal New Year. That's how we do it in the Cavalera household. Have a great metal Christmas, metal New Year. Party down tune hard with Superman. We'll see you on tour. Max Cavalera, your metal brother from the heart. Don't forget, from the heart. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go, Derek! Merry Christmas! Oi!
I mean, is that
There's no
passion or
doubt.
is that passion?
As you said, he's a passionate guy. He's into what he does. He loves his music. He loves his family.
It's very
Just that
cool.
he's-
Very cool. And it goes back to what I said before. All these guys, they're all good people, family people. They give a shit about their craft. They're passionate about it. It's awesome, really.
I'm noticing a trend here, fellas, and that is that when we come across an album that we all really dig and we're all in agreement on, there's a lot less shit talking between us. And I
know.
feel like there's some psychology there that should be probed.
We
Well-
need to pick something shitty so we can just attack each other.
This is uncomfortable.
It is amazing. We've been on a really good run. And
We
notice
have.
how we shit talk each other when we're really irritated with an album.
Yes,
yeah,
true.
I'm not even irritated with Dave's forehead. And usually
Right.
it irritates
Look
me.
at it. There we go.
Disappointed you still haven't considered those implants to bring it down a little bit, but
Yeah.
we can talk
I
about
know.
that later. So
We'll
yeah,
talk
Well,
we've
what
got-
about, what do you not like about my nose hairs? Is there anything you want to make fun of that?
No, not really.
No.
No.
See, this is bad. This is not
What's
good
wrong
for
with
the
you, Dave?
brand.
I don't know.
Can we take
I'm
shots
glad-
at the fact that Derek's drinking Dr. Pepper? He's switched from Guinness to Dr. Pepper.
You'd think he'd be drinking country time, but I guess not.
You'd think.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You want to
right.
know what the problem
Country
is?
time right here. Waiting on those sponsorship dollars. I will get a branded cup for next time.
And John, you
Jo-
know what's funny? It's not just for the summertime. It goes anytime.
All year round, David. Come on. This is
There should-
obscene.
Holy
What can I
crap.
look, man? I didn't want the sponsorship dollars until it occurred. I've have consumed this beverage probably too much for too long. It just makes sense for me. I'm waiting for corporate to reach out, and I haven't heard yet.
Let's send this screenshot to Guinness and see if it works. See if they'll throw us a few ducats, a
Yeah,
few
we haven't-
euros.
We haven't heard from Coors either. And
Yeah,
we
they'll
were ready.
come
We were
in time, John. In time.
in time. I'm impatient.
This
All
was
right,
good,
and-
Derek. This was a good pick for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it to the table. Do we take that step and put a number on it, fellas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going 9 all day long, and the only way it becomes a 10 for me is if they had re-recorded Schizophrenia and put it all out, and maybe we'll get that in the future. Not that that album doesn't need it as much, but it would be nice to see what Max and Iggor come up with Schizophrenia. I don't know if there's any licensing issues with that, but a 9 all day.
What do you figure it would cost to have them like play the entire album on Cameo for you?
Huh.
Oh,
Just set up
What's-
in Max's living room and just rip through an entire set.
1,000 maybe. Maybe I should set aside $1,000 and see if they'll do it.
Maybe. I think we might all need to. Well, they would deserve far more than $1,000. But all right, David, what's your number?
Straw 8.5. I gave it an 8.5. It was great. It was good, especially going back and listening to the originals. and then listening to it now, man, fucking night and day. Hats off to Max and Iggor, and I loved it. It's good stuff.
I am at like a hard 8.75. It's right there for me. It's such a great album. I love that we get to hear it cleanly, the way that I would have loved to have heard it in 85 and 86. But I'm happy to have waited. I think it's a great record, and props to all the guys. Iggor, Amadeus, Max, and we know Daniel Gonzalez and Arthur Risk also played in the studio as well. So great pick, Derek. I'm glad you brought it.
Well, thank you. And thanks for supporting Max, Gloria, Amadeus, the rest of the Cavalera clan. They are, it's a family affair, and they love what they do, and they put a lot of time and energy into it. So we're doing our little part to spread the word.
Do we know, do you by any chance have tour dates? Because I know they're out now, or if they're not out now, they will be out real soon. In fact, we'll be seeing them twice in quick succession in September. I know they'll be in Tampa or Orlando, Florida. So hopefully we've got some dates, Derek.
Yeah, they're starting. Shut your fucking face. August 29th. August 29th, starting in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And they're going out all the way through October 18th in LA is where they're ending. Looks like Exhumed and Insight is on there. Mm-hmm. And obviously what we do know is that the Boston date has our friends in Death Ray Vision opening up for them. So I'm assuming that they'll probably have some local bangers that are going to be opening up at each location.
Very good. Well, again, guys, I'm thrilled with the music we got to listen to this week. I'm disappointed at the level of shit talk, frankly, and I think we all need to work a little harder for next time.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Well, I got a challenge. If we buy Dave, or if we make shit talk reviews diapers, Dave, will you wear it for an entire week?
Over the jeans or under the jeans?
Yeah.
Oh, totally over the jeans, and let's just see what happens. I mean, it'd be great.
I think
very demeaning.
I think that's fair, Dave.
I think, yeah. I mean, I would do it for the show. Sure.
God bless you. See, again, not argumentative. The entertainment value today is out the fucking window.
Can we have a film crew like our boy Ruben? Maybe they can follow you around into the bedroom. Follow you when you go out to dinner, get the reaction of everybody watching you walk around with a shit talk reviews diaper on the outside of your pants. It's kind of like Tootsie. Remember that horrible movie from the 80s where the lady wore her bra on the outside of her blouse?
Said Dustin Hoffman, wasn't it? Was in that movie?
Yes.
That was terrible. Terrible movie.
Oh, God. We'll call you Tootsie with your diaper.
Hey, speaking of which, David, I believe you're up next week.
Yes. Geez, guys, I have a few on my plate that I can give to you guys, but we got to go with Mammoth, Eddie Van Halen's son's band, Mammoth. Mammoth 2 is out. It came out today. I gave it a listen.
Hold it.
I'm not going to say. We're going to go with Mammoth. That's next up.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well,
John,
insult here.
I'm going to insult you. That drum kit, I see dust on it. So why don't you get off here and go and smash the living shit out of it and record some new fucking tunes for our intro and our exit?
See,
you got to stick with the same
pressure.
Intro and exit, though. Can't change that. It's like we identify with that sound now.
Well, that's true.
It's like, shit talk's on.
My sisters won't know what they're listening to.
We'll keep it.
I apologize. I'd like to give a shout out to Kate. God bless her, our number one fan. Thank you.
We need more stickers for the greater northeastern United States.
I have some right here. Whoop. Oh, the background doesn't want to. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've had enough of these pleasantries. They're making me sick, guys.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Guys.
All right.
Take us out.
See ya.
I don't want to see you anymore.
Whatever. Bye.
Bye.